Hi, it's Skip and Bates here, and I thought it was about time I made a video about the Ledger debacle that we have had recently, which has made people think more about hardware wallets, and that's a good thing because we need to query how these things work rather than just assuming that any given company is reliable and trustworthy, has our best interests at heart, and is competent and diligent in ensuring that their offering is secure. And Ledger, unfortunately, appears to have let us down on a number of fronts, some of which they don't even seem to understand, which is probably the worst thing about the current outcome that we have. So I went off and had a look at secure computing a bit more, because it's not an area that I'm an expert in. And to be honest, I'm still not. It's a separate discipline from blockchain, and there are people out there who've devoted their lives to it, and I've gone and read a few articles for a couple of hours. But from what I understand, and I think I had this kind of concept before I went and did this research, in computing it's possible to create hardware and sometimes software where the access to particular data in a particular area of the device is heavily secured. And Ledger talks about a secure element in their wallets, which they compare to your credit or debit card smart chip, you know, that little sort of gold plates thing that the card reader reads. And the idea is that your keys are stored in there, and that there's a very strict set of rules that allow access to that part. And Ledger made a promise, well, not a promise, but they made a statement on Twitter a while back that your keys are in that secure element and cannot be retrieved or extracted. And then, as we found out recently, they've pushed out a firmware upgrade that allows them to extract these keys, because they're offering a custodial key service rather than people having to rely 100% on their own ability to store a piece of paper with 12 or 24 words written on it. And a lot of people in the crypto community felt let down by this. They felt that they'd been cheated and that these Ledger wallets weren't secure and weren't non-custodial at all because of this. Now, I can understand the difficulty that Ledger is facing. The wallets that they have contain keys, and the wallets have to be able to sign. So the idea is that that secure area in the wallet gets handed a transaction and is told sign this, and it hands back a signed copy without ever releasing the private keys. But when it comes to firmware upgrades, Ledger is going to occasionally have to add the opportunity for different signing algorithms. As blockchains evolve, we have new signing schemes that are used, there are new address schemes that are used, and so Ledger is going to need to be able to update the secure element so that the private keys that are in there can be used to sign transactions in different ways to the ones that initially were possible when the wallet was set up. And that's why Ledger has the ability to go in and actually retrieve your keys. When you think about it, if you can't get at the keys, but you can ask the secure area to accept a new signing algorithm, well, one of the things you could do is you could pass it a signing algorithm which is give me the private keys. And that trivial example shows how, if you can update firmware to allow different functions to take place within the secure element, then you can extract whatever is in that secure element. So from a computing perspective, that's kind of obvious. From a consumer perspective, it's not so obvious, because if you're not a cryptographer or a computer programmer or a secure computing expert, then you're not going to know all this stuff. You're just going to go with what the marketing materials say. And this is the real problem that Ledger has, is they've been selling a story to their consumers all this time about how your keys are locked in the hardware wallet and cannot be extracted. And then at a later date, they've gone and said, now we're going to extract the keys and look after them for you for $9.99 per month, per year. I don't know exactly what the subscription is. So we have two conflicting marketing messages there. And one of the problems that engineers have is they don't take into account the impact of marketing, of the messaging that is coming out of a particular company. So if your story all the way along the line is A, and then suddenly you turn around and you change it to not A, and even the least clued up customer can spot that the message has flipped, well, then your company is going to be in trouble. So that's the fundamental error that I think Ledger has made. This is not so much an engineering problem as a marketing problem. They haven't thought about the impact of their new message, and they haven't even taken the time to try and do damage control. They've sort of plowed in with statement after statement after statement that is just saying, yes, we know we're flipped, but we're still right, trust us, and the community doesn't trust them. Now, I don't know if they're going to learn from this in time. I don't know if they're going to recover. It's a shame because we don't have many hardware wallet companies out there that have a long history and a provenance, but Ledger has squandered its goodwill and the capital that it has gained over the years in one short moment. And that should be an eye-opener for all of us, that you have to be careful if you're a security company, because one mishap like this can seriously damage and undermine your company. Anyway, that's today's video. I hope you found it interesting, and I'll see you in the next one soon. Bye for now.